When it comes to creating hype and anticipation around a product launch, nobody does it quite like Apple. Many companies have attempted to imitate Apple's approach to product launching in the past, but not a single competitor has managed to create such a frenzy around a single product as Apple. Apple's ability to host product launch events comparable to major sporting events and concerts in terms of the buzz and excitement they generate in people has obsessed marketers for years. How do they do it? Why is it that even though other companies have implemented similar marketing strategies in the past to hype up their products, Apple's launch events have grown to almost mythical proportions? Stay tuned to find out what makes Apple's product launches so different from the competition and how today's marketers can implement the strategies that have made this tech giant the undisputed champion of product launches. What Apple has done over the last 16 years since the launch of the first iPhone is utterly amazing. They've managed to do something that most other tech brands couldn't dream of doing in their wildest dreams. They've developed something more than an audience of customers. They've developed a fan base. Even more impressive than that is the fact that Apple has been able to keep its loyal customers comfortably paying higher prices for products that they could easily replace by switching to the competition. Insane, right? While it's common knowledge that most people hate advertisements, salespeople, and publicity in general, let's take a moment to think about how Apple has revolutionized the product launch game since the release of the iPhone in 2007. Apple has literally seduced its consumers to the point where nobody even cares about the fact that the company's product launch events are basically 1 to 2 hour long infomercials featuring a new product presented to an audience of willing consumers. Before 2020, Apple used to charge almost $1,600 for access to these high-ticket events. How many other companies can pull off something like this? Now, this is very important because people didn't pay $1,600 to watch a presentation video and go home. In fact, many people who attended the Worldwide Developers Conference in 2019 reported that the experience was unbelievable. To start off, visitors are given a registration gift upon arrival, which varies every year, but the gifts are usually anything from a new speaker to a Levi's leather jacket to all sorts of limited edition Apple gifts. Audience members are treated to all-you-can-eat hotel-grade buffets, free concerts, and even one-on-one sessions with Apple engineers. This is all part of the experience of the product launch and a great marketing strategy. Involving customers in these events and allowing them to become part of the brand's story is one of the main reasons why it's commonly said that people don't buy a smartphone, they buy an iPhone. If the reason for Apple's success had to be defined with just 2 words, those 2 words would be experience and story. From the overall approach to the most minute details of a product launch, Apple goes to incredible lengths to make sure that their customers feel involved in the brand story and to ensure that their products actually make lasting changes in the lives of their buyers. A digital marketer named Andrada Borda analyzed Tim Cook's script for the 2021 Worldwide Developers Conference keynote and found something very interesting that shows just why Apple's product launch events create such a frenzy and keep customers buying. In the script, there are certain words that were repeated much more than others. At the top of that list was the word "you," with 238 mentions during the 1-hour script. This is one of Apple's secrets to becoming the product launch champions, and ironically enough, it's hidden in plain sight. The brand, the products, and the purpose of the company is completely centered around the customer. How else would it make sense for a company that has an advertising and marketing budget 1/5 of the size of Microsoft's and 1/4 of the size of Samsung's to be so dominant in its product launches? In 1977, Steve Jobs and Mike Markula laid out Apple's marketing plan, which centered around 3 main points: empathy, focus, and presentation. By presenting Apple products in a creative, professional manner, in Steve Jobs' own words, the company creates an unforgettable experience that begins long before the customer opens their elegantly packaged, sleek new device. During the live presentations of the company's products, Tim Cook always places very special emphasis on one specific point. On top of being the most innovative, cutting-edge, commercially available technological devices, Apple's products are designed to be there for your most important moments. They revolve around the customer. This is why many of the features on Apple's new devices, such as Name Drop, a new feature which will allow users to share their contact information with others simply by hovering their iPhone on top of another person's, create so much value for the company. This is the defining characteristic of Apple's product focus. New features are added to devices in order to make everyday tasks simpler and to free the customer from performing their most tedious everyday tasks in order to focus on the activities that improve their quality of life. As a clear example of this, Apple has announced that the company is working on a service called Quartz, an AI-powered personalized health coach that gathers data from the Apple Watch to provide accurate suggestions to the user regarding their personal health. From personalized fitness training tips to nutrition suggestions to an analysis of the customer's sleep quality. Apple's product launches are successful because they're focused on improving the areas of life that people truly care about, and the development of Quartz is the perfect example of this. When prompted about Quartz, Tim Cook asserted that Apple's greatest contribution to mankind should be about health. Even when it comes to promoting and launching products that don't necessarily improve the essential areas of customers' lives, Apple is unrivaled. During the company's latest product announcement keynote at the WWDC, Tim Cook revealed Apple's new Vision Pro goggles, the first mixed reality headset of its kind, which will seamlessly blend reality and the digital world, allowing users to interact with digital elements with their hands and eyes. Now, the concept behind this product isn't entirely new. In 2013, Google released their own version of this idea, a pair of smart glasses called Google Glass. Although the idea was promising, Google Glass was only sold to consumers for 2 years before being deemed a complete flop. After many negative reviews, privacy complaints, and a low sales volume due to the elevated price, Google Glass was taken off the market. Although it's impossible to foresee the future, Apple's Vision Pro goggles are unlikely to suffer the same fate as Google Glass. One of Apple's biggest strengths is that, aside from creating new technologies from scratch, the company also has a history of fine-tuning already existing innovative product ideas and preparing them for market consumption. Google's smart glasses were released as a test version, which was a major reason for the failure and a warning for Apple to not repeat the same mistake. Apple will enter the smart glass market at exactly the right time during the AI boom, after these technologies have been worked on and improved for over 10 years. In stark contrast to Apple's pre-launch events, which are more like live performances than conferences, other tech companies just can't seem to create the same excitement around their products. Look at Samsung's most recent Galaxy Unpacked keynote. Skip around to any section of the video and you'll most likely hear the presenter talking about the specs and technology behind the product. By taking the focus off the technology and bringing it to how the product will positively impact the life of the consumer, Apple has stayed ahead of the curve in the product launch game. In addition to the experiences that Apple provides for its customers before a product launch, no other technology company has been as successful in strategically creating anticipation before a launch. How is it that before the release of the first iPad, Apple created such an intense pre-launch hype that people were literally creating 3D mock-ups of what they thought the iPad would look like to get more views on their blogs and videos? What exactly does Apple do that creates a level of excitement that no other company has been able to match? Since its founding, Apple has been very strategic about releasing just enough information to the press and media to create a buzz around its products, but not enough to give too much away. They have a history of letting their strategic information leaks do the marketing work for them, as is the case for Quartz. Although shockingly little has been publicly disclosed about the service, there are already dozens of videos, articles, and news reports on the topic, and Apple is not paying a penny to get their product promoted through these channels. Because Apple has invested so heavily into creating a fully integrated ecosystem of devices that can transfer data seamlessly from one device to the next, the company has made their customers' buying decisions much simpler. This is why people rarely switch from having an iPhone and a Mac to a PC and an Android. It's very comfortable to rely on a highly functional ecosystem of devices that protect your data like no other company and make life easier in many different aspects, and as long as Apple keeps releasing new products, customers will keep buying them. Another very wise decision by Apple was to start using influencer marketing to their advantage. Before each of their major product launches and updates, Apple has been known to give their new products to YouTubers like iJustine, Marques Brownlee, and channels like Unboxing Therapy to increase the pre-launch hype. Because these YouTubers are able to review these products from a different perspective, customers immediately feel more trust, and at that point, the word-of-mouth marketing takes care of the rest of the sale for Apple. In conclusion, marketers could learn many valuable lessons from Apple's product launch strategy. Just because Apple is one of the most valuable companies on the face of the earth does not at all mean that regular businesses cannot imitate their strategies to take their marketing game to new heights. As for Apple, while a lot could happen in the next few years, especially considering the incredible technological changes that society is undergoing with the integration of AI into the business world, it looks like Apple is going to remain the undisputed champion of product launches. And after watching this video, we hope you can see why.